everybody, welcome to the DDC Studios YouTube channel. This is DDC Studios owner and publisher David Hayner, and today's video is, yep, you guessed it, part 4 of the secret origin of DDC Studios. But before we get underway, I want to remind you to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also, please feel free to share this video on all forms of social media, as just like in the world of mini comics, we are relying on you fine folks and your word of mouth to get the word out on this little YouTube channel that could, if you will. Okay, now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, let's get started on checking out chapter 4 of the secret origin of DDC Studios. When last we left you, Vigilante Patrol was basically done, at least on my end, but unfortunately still to this day hasn't seen the light of day, other than what little bit that I showed on the video and some of the artwork I've shared on social media in the past. So now we're going to flash forward a few years, and I'm actually no longer living with Chad and DJ. I've actually am with Dylan's mom, and Dylan comes along, and of course with the responsibilities of fatherhood, the artwork in comic books kind of fell by the wayside. I wasn't really producing any sort of comic book or artwork at this time, probably, oh goodness, for the first 5 to 8 years of Dylan's life, quite honestly. But between work and family stuff and families breaking up, it just, our art was not a priority in my life. Other things definitely, took priority. However, I was still reading and collecting comic books, getting Dylan into superheroes. Of course, at his young age, it was mostly through the cartoons and through Legos and stuff like that. If you got kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But also at this time, by the time Dylan was around 8 or so, I was revisiting the artwork a little bit. I was changing and tweaking the concept to Dillard for about the 3rd or 4th time, quite frankly, and really trying to refine it. And I had come up with a plot that I was really happy with, which, strangely enough, is basically the plot that, if you're reading the Dillard mini-comic series right now, you know exactly what plot I'm talking about. The theft of Stickman number 1. But also at this time, I was working on I guess we'll call it an exercise, called 101 Ways to Kill a Stickman. Now you gotta bear in mind, we're talking a time period before the internet was huge, and websites like stickmandeath.com and all of those, they may have been around, but they had yet to reach any sort of popularity. So I'll be perfectly honest with you, I was completely unaware of them. Now since I am totally aware of them, but I decided I was going to do 101 pages, each page basically depicting a rather violent, if not humorous, way for a stickman to either die or get killed. And it was done, like, obviously with stick figures, but colored, just using colored pencil. So I was literally, attempting to make the most violent and unsettling, all ages mini-comic, or comic, if you will, ever made. And strangely enough, I actually did accomplish that feat. I did 101 pages. It's never actually seen the light of day, to be perfectly honest. As I'm talking now, you're seeing a few of the pages. It is something that I am toying around with, either releasing in the form that it is now, or looking into basically redoing or remastering the pages and releasing them Basically, in like a 6-issue miniseries, if you will, or a finite series. And, you know, if actually what you're seeing is something that really seems to be to your liking, definitely leave a comment down below, because if we get enough feedback saying, heck yes, give us this series, we'll definitely put it out. And strangely enough, I actually took things a step further, and I did 101 more ways to kill a stickman. So there's actually 202 pages worth of stickman gags, if you will, that we can put out. But during this time period, I actually discovered something very, very important, and that was, quite frankly, when it comes to comic book work, I am far more productive, and it's just far better for me to actually work on my own instead of necessarily collaborating with my buddies. I'm not laying the blame on them. I would procrastinate just as bad as they would at times, but when I just started working on these projects all by myself, I was actually getting things accomplished. So, you know, a lot of folks will work really good with a collaborator, and quite possibly there's instances where they almost have to have a collaborator. I myself, you know, I'm a lot better as a one-man band, if you will, or in my case right now, just collaborating with my son Dillard. Unfortunately, though, Dillard never really saw the light of day, because quite frankly, I honestly became obsessed with this stickman idea. So Dillard kind of dropped off to the wayside. I would still work on pages here or there, but I was really concentrating on this stickman. Now, also bear in mind, I had no intentions of ever publishing these pages. It was just, quite simply put, an exercise to see if I could actually do it. And lo and behold, I did. And then that's kind of when, well, quite frankly, Dylan's mom and I split up, and there was some upheaval going on. I'm not really going to get into details, but let's just say it was time for Dave to take another rather extended break from working on his art and from comic books. Even my comic book buying and reading had dropped way down. But then we're going to flash forward to just about, 3-4 years ago, around in there, and I discovered comic book Twitter. And there was a few channels that I was really digging, a few others that, you know, weren't that great. You know, I was really kind of picking and choosing my way through. But one thing that I was really noticing was there was this company that everybody was talking about. They were kind of becoming the talk of the Twitter independent comic book scene, or YouTube independent comic book scene, if you will. And that was a company owned by Peter Simeti called Alterna Comics, and they had just recently switched the way they were producing comics, as they were printing comics on newsprint with slick, glossy covers, just like old school comic books, like in the 80s, and selling them for basically, you know, $2 a piece. And the art was awesome, the stories were awesome, and the prices were even more awesome. So I kind of took a chance and ordered a fairly fat stack of comics from Alterna, because, you know, it didn't cost a whole lot of money buying a gigantic stack of comics when we're only talking, you know, $1.50 to $2 a piece. So, and I absolutely fell in love with them. You know, I read the whole stack that day, and Dylan read almost all of them as well. And I jumped on Twitter and started following Peter Simeti and Alterna Comics, and basically every single Alterna creator I could track down. I followed on both Twitter and Instagram. And that pretty much takes us to, honestly, with the exception of the birth of my son, probably one of the biggest life-changing events to ever happen to me. And on that cliffhanger, we're actually going to end the video. But we will have at least one more, if not two more videos on the secret origin of DDC Studios coming up. And as always, thank you ever so much for listening. Please hit the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. Also, definitely leave us a comment down below. If you are interested in checking out any of the DDC Studios mini comics we currently have in print, hit that link under the Webstore moniker down below in the description, where you can pick up all of your DDC mini comics, both individuals and bundles. And you can also pick up some sketch cards and even commission a custom sketch card of any subject you want. Also, please check out our Teespring store, where right now you can pick up an official DDC Studios logo t-shirt, the domain logo t-shirt, and also a Black Owl emblem cosplay style t-shirt, and those are available in all sizes and are just $20 a piece. And finally, please feel free to follow us on both Twitter and Instagram, where you can get completely updated on all up-and-coming DDC releases, both in mini comics, original art, and videos, and all sorts of other mini comic goofiness, if you will. So once again, thank you so much for listening. We will have part 5 of the secret origin of DDC Studios coming at you here in just a couple of days. Thanks a lot. Bye.